Hola, today you're going to be learning about the verb ser. You guys actually learned this last year. It is a review for us. The book again is teaching it for the first time. If you haven't already done so, pause the video, go back, import the new slide, the verb ser, as slide 25. Make sure you're on slide 24 prior to adding or prior to going to file, import slide. And this slide that you should be importing is supposed to be slide 25, the verb ser. If you've done all that, go ahead and continue. If you haven't, stop the video and go and do that. Okay, so first we're going to talk about what does the verb ser mean. Again, we learned this last year. You should know that the verb ser literally means to be. The verb ser is just like the verb star. They both mean to be. So we're going to fill this in English first, and then we'll go ahead and fill it in Spanish. So we're going to say that top left-hand box would be the subject I, and it is am. So you're going to go ahead and drag these over. If you want to stop the video and do it yourself, and then come back and check your answers, you can. But I will go through with them with you either way. Okay, the top left-hand box we're going to learn how to say I am today. Middle left-hand box, you should remember that it is the you familiar. And since we're talking about the verb to be, it'd be you familiar are. Okay, remember this bottom left-hand box has technically 4 subjects. We're going to learn how to say he is. I like to start with this order. She is. It is. And you familiar or you formal are. Remember, formal means adult, the you formal, the usted box. Okay, over to the plural side, I and somebody else gives us we. So we're going to learn how to say we are. This is the in Spain box, which is taking you familiar and maybe saying you familiar again, or you familiar and somebody else. So basically it is the y'all familiar plural are. He and he, she and she, or plural people, they are. And take that you formal and add another person, you formal plural are. Again, that should be review. That should not be brand new, boys and girls. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and fill in the Spanish subject pronouns. I've given you 2 question marks. The top one is the subjects. The bottom white one is going to be the conjugation. So the word for I in Spanish, hopefully everybody knows, is yo. The word for you familiar in Spanish is tú con acento. I don't have it on my screen, but I will add the shortcuts for those of you that still don't know how to do an accent mark. For those of you that do, option E, release the letter U. The word for he in Spanish, we should know, is él con acento. Option E, release the letter E again, the letter L. She in Spanish is ella. Remember, we don't have a Spanish word for it. It is just understood that when you write this verb form that we're going to be filling in, that it means kind of it is. So the word for you formal in Spanish is, you should remember, usted, or again, this textbook likes to abbreviate it, capital U, lowercase d, period. Okay, moving over to the plural side. We in Spanish depends on who's in the group. If it's all males, including yourself, nosotros. Yes, I should be zooming in. That would have been smart, senora. Sorry, boys and girls. I'll do that now. We females, including yourself as a girl, nosotras. You all, familiar plural in Spain, depending on who you all is. If you all are boys or a mixed group, vosotros. If you're saying y'all, my girlfriends, then it would be vosotras. The two words for they in Spanish, depending again on the group, is if it's they males or a mixed group, ellos. They females, ellas. The you formal plural in Spanish is ustedes. Abbreviated in Spanish, capital U, lowercase d, lowercase s, period. Again, you should know these subject pronouns by now. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So now let's learn the forms of ser. Again, we learned these last year in chapter 1. I am in Spanish is yo soy. And you don't need to say the yo, you can just say soy. The word for you familiar are can either be eres or it can be tú eres. You usually do need the subjects in this sentence because it can either mean is and are depending on what subject comes before. It is the one that we almost use 90% of the time, which is es. We are for ser is somos. You all are in Spain is sois. And they are, or you plural formal are, is son. The verb ser is an irregular verb, meaning you can't just drop the er and add the usual endings. You kind of just need to memorize them. Like I said, we learned them last year. Repeat to yourself, soy, eres, es, somos, sois, and son. Technically, we could be done, but again, I feel like some of you are super, super smart that you're like, okay, senora, ser means to be, and we learned up here in chapter 2 on slide 14, the verb estar meant to be. And those were estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, and están. And I taught you a rhyme to learn when to use estar. If you're describing a feeling, describing where someone or something is located, you always use the verb estar. How you feel and where you are, always use the verb estar. And basically, this is supposed to be temporary things because feelings change from moment to moment. Where you are doesn't change from moment to moment, but it can change. I could be in the classroom right now, and when the bell rings, you're going to be going to lunch. So where you are changes. It's more temporary. So ser is a lot harder to know when the uses. It's not as easy. I've not come up with this. This is not my own, but there's an acronym that you can think of, doctor. Main thing, boys and girls, is ser is more permanent, meaning in the moment it is permanent, or it's things that typically don't change. And we'll see an argument about this in a moment, but typically it's more permanent. When you're thinking about the sentence, in that sentence, is that something that's more permanent or something that's more temporary? Okay, so the letter D in doctor stands for description. So, boys and girls, we've learned that descriptions basically kind of define who a person or a thing probably is like or not like. Um, the description can be names, like saying she is Maria. It could be a physical description, she is tall, she is good looking. It could be a nationality. She is Puerto Rican. She is American. They even talk about kind of religions, like she is Catholic, she is a Buddhist, different things like that. So let's just do an example because you're going to, on the homework, kind of tell me description, and this might help. So ejemplo. And we can make this in a different color so that it doesn't stand out, or you can just leave it since it might be hard to change the colors. I'm actually going to change description's color so that it stands out more. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess purple will stand out more. Okay, an example. One of them was saying that, uh, I guess she's an American. Ella es americana. So that is a description. The most you guys know, though, would be probably using people's names. She is Maria, or just physical descriptions like we learned last year when you had to do your presentation about the person. Tall, short, fat, skinny, redhead, dark haired, blonde, pretty, and ugly. Those to me are more descriptions that you guys know. So again, D stands for descriptions. Okay, the letter O stands for occupations. Now, that might be even a word you don't even know in English. So that might be hard for you to understand. Occupations is another way of kind of saying um, what someone does to make a living. So your occupation is to either be a child or a student. Maybe you get paid for your grades, maybe you get paid to do chores. So that's your current occupation. And think about whatever your parents do. Maria is a doctor, Juan is a dentist, Lupe is a psychiatrist, Senor Kosek is a Spanish teacher. So again, it's kind of what you do to make a living. Um, and I know you guys are students. That's kind of how you make your living. You're learning so that hopefully you can get a job someday with the knowledge that you get. So let's do that example. Um, I, sorry, I am a student. Yo soy una estudiante. And I'm going to choose una because obviously I am a girl. Okay. Occupation, what people do to kind of gain money. And again, that's permanent. Think about that. Descriptions, saying that someone's American, that doesn't change. Saying that someone is tall, that doesn't change. Saying that someone is Maria, that doesn't change. So those are more permanent things. Okay, now moving on to the letter C. The letter C is one that you guys should totally remember. It is characteristics. This is all of chapter 2 last year. You are presenting people, you are describing their characteristics. It's basically, who they are, their personality traits. Another way of saying characteristics, the personality traits, the personality descriptions, things that describe, how they are, other than the descriptions, not the physical things, but now more the characteristics. So Jorge y David, and since it's Jorge and David, we would use son. And let's think of a description. Let's do hardworking. Remember, the word for hardworking is trabajador. That was too long of a sentence, senora. So let's not do that. Let's make it shorter and let's just say Jorge is hardworking. Jorge es trabajador. We would stop there because we don't need to make it plural. And Jorge is a dude, so that would be the correct adjective to describe him. Characteristics, things that describe their personality. C, characteristics. Okay, T is very vague, but it kind of stands for time. I'm going to put in parentheses. Remember, time can either be days, date, years, and like thinking of the clock. Okay. So we'll do the year because I know I don't have that as an example. Maybe the other ones are on the homework for tonight. It is 2021. Es el año 2021. So It is would be S. Time. And that's where you guys could argue that it's not permanent, but technically it is. For the whole year of 2021, it's permanently 2021. For all of whatever day of the week you're talking about, it is currently that day. The date, that date is that date for 24 hours. The clock, it's not for 24 hours, but for at least 60 seconds, right? It's 110 for 60 seconds. Actually, it's 110 twice a day. So while you're saying that statement, it is technically permanent. Senora, you're so deep sometimes. Okay, on to our other O, which stands for origin. Sometimes I think people are very deep with these ideas. Origin, boys and girls, is basically where someone is from or what something is made up of. Okay, like a material, what it is made of, kind of the origin. Like, my shirt is cotton. You could think of that being a description, but really it's kind of the origin of what it is made of. My teeth are enamel, or have, I guess they're not enamel. The bottle is metal. So again, it's kind of the origin. Most likely, though, you're going to be using it in origin of where someone is from. We learned that last year in chapter 1, to say that I am from America. I am from the United States. I am from Illinois. So let's go simple and say I am from Illinois. I can write a handful for this one. Probably could have done it above, but I was afraid I didn't have enough room. Since it will drive me nuts, I will go ahead and put it up there. You don't want to, you don't have to. These are your notes also, but you should at least have what doctor stands for. Yo soy de Illinois. That's actually what your answer is to usually one of the questions for asistencia. Okay, origin. Moving on to the last one, which is R, and that one stands for relationships. Relationships. So relationships is kind of obvious. It's kind of telling you like your relationship with somebody. It could be your family relationship. She is my daughter. He is my father. It could be friendship. He is my best friend. He is my classmate. You could also do even romantic in the sense that, he is my husband. So let's do an example. I spell relationships wrong. Yep, I did. There it is. I forgot an O. Relationships. Okay, so let's do an example. Let's learn the word for boyfriend or girlfriend. Novio would be a boyfriend. Novia would be a girlfriend. So he is my boyfriend. Él, con acento, es mi novio. He is my boyfriend. Now you learn the word for boyfriend. Novia would be girlfriend. So R stands for relationship. This one, I guess you could say, is more of a romantic relationship. It could be a family relationship. It could be an actual friendship relationship. I could say that you guys, are my students. That's a relationship that we have. So again, there's another example of relationships. That is the notes. I'm going to stop the video there. Your homework tonight is to do the left-hand side. I'll create another little mini video at that time. But again, hopefully the ser is not new for you. Soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son. This is kind of more new. This is very advanced. So if you can learn this sooner, you will do much better next year. Doctor, descriptions, occupation, characteristics, time, origin, relationships. Again, I want to reiterate that these are more permanent ideas as compared to the star, which is more temporary. Okay, thank you very much. Make sure you've updated your notes. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Gracias.